Robert, I wanted to go through your video, some of the things I've noticed with your worksheet. If you notice here, I'm just making the sizes of these cells a little bit bigger so that you can see the totals. That's the first thing I would do. The second thing is I'm looking at your entries via the T accounts. And I'm noticing some accounts that have an incorrect ending balance, which is most certainly the reason why your trial balance is not balanced. The first is the cash. The cash becomes quite important. My first issue here is that there are a number of debit items that may not be showing within your T accounts because your cash is very, very low. It's only 11,000. It should be much, much higher than that. So my suggestion then is to go through your entries and see which ones you've missed. If I take a look at this really quickly, some of the things that stick out to me in terms of your cash, I'm going to look at your 10,000 here. And it just looks like you're not showing all of your entries. Yes, this is just showing you that some of the entries that you have posted were not done correctly. If you look at the August entry here, you have your entries in the right, you have the right accounts, which is wonderful, but they're in the wrong order. So first you want to debit your cash for what you received. You want to debit your accounts receivable. And then you want to record your revenue. So your revenue is obviously going to be the biggest number, but then your amount that you received in cash and your accounts receivable. So this entry here is throwing off your cash. This cash should not be going down. The other area where I've noticed a big difference, and look here, the same is happening with your July revenue. If you fix these, meaning not decrease your cash, but what you're recording is your revenue of 15,000, and you're recording the part of the revenue that you receive in cash and the part you receive in a receivable. So this entry here is throwing off your cash. What you need to do is make certain that you reverse this entry. Cash should be debited, revenue should be credited, and you should be, I believe, you should be fine. Make those changes and see where you stand. The same problem here. You just did not show the changes in your revenue account and your cash on these entries. So I would say that's one of the largest reasons why your cash is off and the largest reasons why your trial balance is off. With your dividends, I believe you put your dividends as a credit and it should have been a debit on your T accounts. I'm looking for that. Or you put a negative sign. What you need to do is remove the negative sign and you should be fine with your trial balance in your dividends account. That number should not be negative. Just remove the negative, just remove the minus sign and you should be fine. Your bakery sales obviously is wrong because you're debiting your revenue and you should have been crediting it, and this number should be substantially higher. So these are the three accounts that truly are the reason I believe your numbers are incorrect. I like your baking supplies. This number's a little bit off, very small, like $20, but we'll fix that. These numbers look good. That looks good. That looks good. No payable looks good. Accounts payable's off a little bit, but once you fix your cash, you'll be correcting also your accounts payable. Common stock looks good. Wages payable. I certainly believe that these are the accounts that you really need to fix. And I showed you within your journal entries why they're incorrect. Let me look at your accounts payable in the T accounts and show you what happened here. Looking at accounts payable right here. Now, I'm going to highlight this entire box because it's important to see where the entries you have to just review. I'm suggesting you review the bakery sales on account entries, which happened in July, happened in August, and happened in September. But also check the payments as well, because that's some area where I think you might have some issues. With your wages payable, that's okay. Accounts payable is fine. Again, remove the bracket, remove the negative sign in front of that. Let me see what else is wrong. These numbers here are wrong simply because you're only taking part of the sales. You want total sales, not part of the sales. Total sales is $10,000, and a portion of that sale you receive in cash, and a portion of you're going to expect later. So that's why your number is off here. I really hope that that helps you correct your unadjusted trial balance. These 4 accounts. And is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 accounts that are incorrect. The other accounts appear to be fine. This one here, I think, slightly off. Looks like it's off maybe a few $100s. So check that as well. But these are the accounts that are off, and I've noted in your journal entries why they're off. Now the next step is to go to the journal entries, adjusting entries. Now the interest expense, you did record an adjustment, and the entry looks good. The amount's off. So all you need to do is take the principal, multiply times the rate, times the time, which is going to be 3/12. That should be your calculation. So once you recalculate, your numbers will change here. You're not recording the expense for the entire month, and you're not recording cash. Cash is not going to be affected here. You're only going to be recording 2/12 of the $2,400. Once you fix that, you should be fine. These 2 numbers here are wrong only because you're showing the ending balance. You need to take the ending balance and subtract from that the supplies purchased. To equal your adjustment. So for example, on your trial balance, you show $18,500 is your ending balance, your unadjusted balance. Well, for your adjustment, you're going to be taking that $18,500, subtracting the $1,100 to come up with your adjustment. And you do the same thing for your office supplies expense. Now remember, you're not adjusting cash at all. You're just reducing your asset and recording the expense. So change not only the cash here, because no cash is affected here, but also adjust the your calculation for the adjustment, which is your ending balance unadjusted minus your supplies on hand. This should help you. There we go. And that's really all I would suggest you make changes to. They seem to be a lot of changes, but they're not necessarily a lot of changes. It's just you got to make certain that you're adjusting for what you've used here, and you've only used 2 months. You have to show your unadjusted ending balance minus the supplies you have on hand, which is in this case $1,100, to come up with your adjustment, and that's what you'll recreate here. For your trial balance, to correct this, to make it balanced, you have to adjust your journal entries for revenues because you recorded them incorrectly, and I made some comments on each one of those tabs to help you. And you need to remove the brackets from your dividends entry on your T accounts. Here you should not have 18,500. You should have far more. But once you change your your journal entries for July, August, and September, as I mentioned, this number will go up higher. And as far as your accounts payable is concerned, there are about 5 entries I think you need to go through and check, because your entry here looks like you might not show, looks like there might be a transaction missing. That's just my guess here. So I hope once you go through these entries that you should be able to find out how to fix your errors and get your trial balance to agree, and also make changes to adjusted interest so they'll allow you to proceed forward with your project. You can always call me or email me, and I will provide additional details if you need them. I really hope you do your best, and let me know if there's any questions.